Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I'm going to share with you some thoughts on Rebellion. These are my up-to-the-minute thoughts, concerns, excitement points around these new amazing cards. Some of them are really standing out. Some of them I desire and maybe I've already bought. Others I'm going to get soon. And this is just my thoughts on some of the synergies I'm seeing, maybe some of the ones that I've put on a high list of need-to-haves, and kind of a meandering conversation around why I might be paying particular attention to those cards. If that sounds interesting, stick around, stay tuned, like, and subscribe. Have an amazing day, guys. God bless. One thing I want to talk more on and think through more is Rebellion cards, Rebellion prices. You know, what makes sense to sort of chase after now and maybe to be patient on. I do believe that Rebellion cards are going to be coming down in value for the most part because there will be more and more packs opened. But it's not as simple as more packs are going to be sold and therefore opened and tomorrow or over the next 9 months or 10 months or the duration of Rebellion. Therefore, the price will necessarily come down. Supply and demand is not that simple. There's the supply side. Yes, more Rebellion packs will be sold. Yes, more will be opened. That means more of each card will reach to the marketplace. And already this has begun to happen. As you look at Rebellion prices, you've seen it through the rental market probably. If you haven't, I have. Looking at the rental market and looking at Rebellion specifically, on the first day, there was almost no Rebellion cards available. Now this screen is full of them. And then the price points were, astronomical. And even for like one BCX, for like any card, it was like 100 BCX DEC to borrow it. Now the screen is full, 200 copies, 100 copies. These are low level BCX ones, level ones. But for some people, that's all you need. If you're playing in bronze, it's kind of cool that you can rent some of these cards at the lowest level to just give it a shot. And I am actually playing in bronze now. I've got a third account and it's one of my older accounts and I'm just reactivating it because, like I said earlier, I'm interested in, getting the most out of the game right now. That's why I'm playing tournaments. That's why I'm, taking some time out this afternoon to do a live stream because I want to talk about the game. I'm excited right now. I'm really excited about where we're at. Blockchain, in the moment of blockchain, but also within Splinterlands. And so it's cool that these are available for the lowest levels because they will be fun. They will change how you play the game. They will create a new sense of entertainment for you if you've been here for a while because it's fresh cards, new synergies, interactions that you've not seen before, ways to win and ways to think through not just how to win the game, but then the game within the game of hey, I noticed X, Y, and Z cards work beautifully together, and it actually allows me to win a disproportionate number of my battles. So how will that change the game within the game of how I invest? Because again, it's not just Splinterlands is absolutely an auto brawler where you submit your team and then the game happens. But is that all it is? Like you come in here and you pick these monsters and then you win or you lose. Yeah, that's like the coach experience. But there's the general manager who built that team. That's you, of course, but you have to formulate the best approach to creating that team. It's like the general manager builds a team, the coach deploys the team, and there's even above that, there's like above the general manager, there's like this team owner, or you think of it as like the owner of the team who not only funds the operations, but finds ways to think through the profitability of the operation so that you can continue to find new tools to win them, so the coach can be stronger. And so it's this multi-level experience, and some people don't always get that. And so I like to make that point more than once. But I feel like right now, Rebellion is absolutely giving us some of those opportunities. Like some of these cards at the lowest levels to the highest levels are actually becoming affordable, at least from the rental market. Even a Diamond Champion, I am renting some of these Rebellion cards now. This is a low level bronze gold foil tournament battle. So you're not going to see the high level ones that I'm borrowing right now, but I am borrowing some. I'll show you some actually. I'll let you see what I'm renting right now. So if we come in here, we go to Rebellion. Okay, so some of these I own. How can I do this? Or rent, not rented. Rented to me. Here we go. So I'm renting what you see on the screen here. So these were about 40 or 50 DEC, both of these. And I think they're quite fun and juicy. I mean, this has got the lookout ability, which I really, really find quite strong in a lot of different contexts. Whether it's a sneak defense or whether it's like a in context and support of a taunt monster, because you can put your taunt monster in in whatever spot you want, whether it's a first position tank with the taunt, and you slip this in the second spot, and then you're gonna attract all the sneaks and all the opportunities, and all the snipes, and then you're gonna bring that damage down, which is so good. Yeah, 40-50 DEC, I forget exactly what. So it's a strong monster. Plus, it's got the life leech, which does add up for sure. And then Barash Kukor, you gotta like that, the big 5 bomb. At the same time, it's a lot of mana for, relatively susceptible. If this thing gets this big 5 bomb thrown back at it with an amp and a magic reflect, I think you're in trouble. And this is 13 mana, and this thing can't go down. Like, if this thing goes down, this is a big mana cost, unless you're doing a 99, right? So I'm not sure how sort of, I don't know how important, valuable, impactful some of these cards will be. I'm still exploring that, but that's my point. You can explore that now with the rental market in a way that you couldn't 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. It's starting to become affordable, and I think it's beginning to become more and more affordable, not just from rentals, but yes, within rentals. You can test them out. I recently opened 33 packs of Rebellion, and I got I don't know how to say this, Croyery. I don't know how to say that at all. But I got this card in gold foil version, and I found how absolutely impactful it is at the lower levels. And so if you're playing, and there's gonna always, with every card, this, within Splinterlands, it's like some cards will have a huge impact, maybe a disproportionate power at the lowest levels, and then some will have, be more impactful at the highest levels. I would say flank, and specifically this card, is, if you're playing bronze silver, is just like must have. It's just, first of all, it's got a good amount of hit points, and second of all, that flank capacity. The weapon trainer is great, but at the lowest levels, this one only has 1 damage, so you're not really gonna get a huge weapon training bonus. But what you do get is a pretty decent meat shield, even at the lowest levels, and then it's got the flank capacity even at the lowest levels, which means that you can put somebody who's really powerful in the second spot. You know who I'm doing right now, especially in some of the tournaments I've just been running wild on. Maybe that one I just got, 30 or 40th or position or whatever. I use the flank, this green monster in the first, and then I slip in the second, the Grund with the double striking melee damage, because I have gold foil low level of both of them. And so that is absolutely setting me apart. Again, that's a low level play, a bronze, a silver play, but it exists. And maybe this card too, it has 5 damage even at the lowest levels. Now the mana would be too much probably, because most bronze battles are, but you see, I don't know how best to use these. And so I'm absolutely seeking opportunities to test them out. And the rental market's giving me that, because ultimately I want to own them. I want to find the most impactful ones, and I want to buy them. That's what I'm trying to do. And so in the path, in order to accomplish that goal, I'm trying to test them out. I'm also watching different content from, Aftersound and Bulldog, and who else I've been watching lately. I feel like there's been lots of different people I've been watching, and I'll do my best, just to learn from, all that are involved, so that I can figure out where I want to spend my money, because just like with you, my resources are limited, and I want to spend my money in the most impactful way. And I do think absolutely some of these cards are going to be that. Mantaroth is a beast, that. Also Grimbard and Smith's amazing, but those costs, and I'm not even saying it's not worth more. Mantaroth might be worth more than $50 a BCX, and Grimbard and Smith might be worth more than $5 a BCX, which is where they're at now. It's not about whether it's worth more. It's about, it's not even about if it's a good deal today. In the sense of, would I feel that the price is okay? It's not just that. It's bigger than that. It's like, if I had $550 to buy a max level Mantaroth, I have $550 to spend. that can go a long way on other resources, and maybe the combination of other resources can bring you a further distance within the sort of the capacity of what you're doing here in Splinterlands. Same with Grim Smith. Now that's the gold foil, but the gold foil, I was looking this morning, there's a max copy here for 857, and there's to get a max copy of the regular foil, you're looking at I mean, probably, look at this. Okay, there's 827 copies at this level. Wow. I assume that's one person. I don't really know. Like, could that be one? That's not one person, is it? But either way, you can get a max copy for that, right? So if we go bulk buy and we go 115, you're talking 530. So 530 for a regular foil or 830 for a gold foil, I think it was. Amazing card, super expensive though. If you have 550 for this rare card, again, how could you use that wisely? And what would you do? You could buy 15,000 SPS. We talked earlier about how $100 will get you 3,000 SPS times by 5. Or do you want a Grim Smith? Is a Grim Smith worth 15,000 SPS to you? That's the way we have to think about these things because that's the game within the game. It's not just how do I win, it's how do I do the most for the least sort of cost and be the most efficient I can with everything, my investment, my play style, how often I win, all of it. It's an efficiency thing, and it takes a lot of attention and precision, and I love that. That's why this game is way more satisfying and has this long-term sustainability that many people don't fully understand. Those who look at it from a auto brawler game only are missing this other bigger component of the game that is at least as important, maybe more, and deeply satisfying to I guess play around with. At least that's my feel on it, and I suspect many of you agree with me on that. Wilson, SPS assistant to the regional manager. I love the office reference. Assistant. My name is Dwight Schrute. I am assistant to the regional manager. Mike goes assistant to the regional manager. I love that, Joe, man. Me and the wife watch it over and over and over again. We haven't watched it recently, but we do watch it. We watch it very, very often. I'm hearing my nurse call me, guys. My daughter might need me. Just 1 minute. Sorry about that. I have a nurse with my daughter. She's at home sick today, and they wanted to ask where her lunch was. So I just had to get her set up. Eli, good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you popping by. Pardon me, I got to clear my throat. I need to get a mute button for that. Sorry about if that hurt the ears at all. Okay. There's a lot more than I wanted to say, but I kind of lost my train of thought there. SPS, Rebellion. There's so much more I want to say about Rebellion. I do really think Flank is really interesting. Maybe I can show a couple battles. I think especially at the lower levels. Now, it's also awesome at the highest levels. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying at the lower levels, you're going to find that people don't even know what's going on. Because they don't have it yet themselves. Let's watch. I did try it right here, but I lost it. I know it's worked for me several times. Actually, I could pull up the data from Splintercoach. But let's watch this one. This is a loss. And I want to see what goes wrong here. But see, I'm on the front got my flank, and I'm dropping the grunt in the second spot. Hoping to really give space with this guy here for the Grund to stay alive longer. He's doing the opposite. He's putting his Grund right up in front. And we both dropped the Katrelba Gobson. His is gonna proc faster and harder, I guess. I bet Buddy dodges me. And I bet that's how he beats me here. Let's find out. See, my Katrelba could kill his Venaria on the first round, and if we did, we're gonna... How is he gonna beat me here? How is he gonna beat this? Yes, he's gonna get 1-2 kills the next round, but oh, that's all it is, really. See, I got 2 kills, but he's gonna get 1-2 kills right here. I'm gonna get Martyr, but it's not enough. How is this not gonna work? I'm still, as I look at this, how is this not going to work for me? He's going to go first, isn't he? Oh, they gave him the first shot. That's all it was. That's all it was. Because we were even Steven speed-wise. It just was luck of the draw on who went first. And of course, after that, the Katrelba pulls it out. But you see my play. I want to hit replay again because whose Grund went down first? And Grund is a big part of the play. So it really came down. I lost due to luck. He got lucky with respect to firing first. We're both level 3. He's got a level 3 Katrelba. I got a level 3 Katrelba. They're both the exact same speed. We have the same summon. There's no blindness or anything. No slower swiftness. So he got lucky, and that's how he won. But notice his Grund is about to die in round 2, and mine's still full, even with a tank heal. So this is what I'm saying. Flank creates space for some of your most dangerous monsters. And yes, I know I didn't win this, but as we point out, it's not because the Grund play failed. It's because of something else. And so, see, 5 speed. If we got first fire right now, we win. But instead, we don't. And he defeats us. Okay. So yeah, I think I'm seeing and I'm trying to see how these cards are going to reach the sort of the commonplace usage. And I'm seeing some of the videos on YouTube and I'm learning from some of the guys. But absolutely there's more to observe. And if we can recognize it before others, there might be ways and paths to get some of these cards for a really reasonable price. That's my hope anyways. Because I do think some of these cards are yet to be fully incorporated into our rhythm. And if we aren't yet seeing them be fully incorporated, then my next question is, are we properly pricing them? If a card is amazing and impacts the meta, but we don't yet see that impact, then maybe the price hasn't changed yet. And there's an opportunity to buy it still at a relatively low price point. 18 viewers, guys, 19 likes. Drop the like if you're enjoying the content, if you appreciate what we do, and if you want to see more people hear about Splinterlands, go ahead and drop the like. Thank you so much for hanging out here today, guys. Okay. Let me pull up the Rebellions. This is another card I've seen recently that I don't know if it's, again, I'm not saying any of these cards are the right price. I'm not saying they're a good price. I'm saying I'm looking at them and thinking through. Feels like 5-6 cents for a common is probably higher than I'm going to want to pay. And these cards, every pack is going to have 4 commons for the most part. So there should be more and more of these commons coming to the marketplace. Plus, it looks like most people think the Endless Ape is relatively, unimpressive. That's why it's one of the lower cards in the market here. But I have been defeated by it recently. The Scavenger is a big deal, man. Maybe even more so at the lowest levels. Now, it's powerful at every level. And you've seen cards like Dr. Blight that have Scavenge. They start with 3 or 4 hit points. And by the end of the game, they have 10 or 12. And this is the same thing. If you put a 10 hit point Scavenger, this thing might have 20 hit points by the time it finds its way to the front in certain rule sets. I love Scavenger. I find it super powerful. It is one of those ways to out-survive poison or flight damage, even when there's no heal available, even when heal's been canceled because of rule set. And so I think the Endless Ape is probably worth my attention. Now, again, that doesn't mean I'm buying it for 6 cents. It just means again, I'm in this assessment phase. I'd love to see in the chat what you guys are looking at, which cards are really grabbing your attention. You know, I know the main ones, but is there a sleeper one here that you're seeing? I'd love to see a chat on that, and I'd love to analyze those cards in particular, because I'm in the assessment phase and I want to figure it out, and maybe we figure it out faster together. I think this is one of the places that we gotta, if you're into Splinterlands, you gotta be most attentive right now. There's opportunity right now that won't exist in 6 months. Again, that's not about price. The prices of these cards can go down in 6 months because there could be more and more supply. But if certain key cards are going to end up being that Grim Barden Smith type impact, and everyone seems to love that card, say it's absolutely overpowered, it fits in so many circumstances, wins, especially with Weapons Trainer now. That card went from $1 to $5 a BCX, and you need 115 of them to get a max copy. So that's a very crazy multiplier in the last 4 weeks. What could the next 4 weeks bring? Is there a card right in front of you on the screen right now that is showing maybe the promise or the capacity to have that sort of similar impact? There might be. In fact, I bet there is. And I'm not seeing it, and maybe you're not. But then when someone does, the price can take off. And I'm saying if we get there first, we get the cheaper card. Maybe we benefit financially. We definitely benefit from a win perspective. And that's why. That's why now is the time. Office is awesome. I got a friend when I get to his house, we put it on. It's probably, is it maybe the best comedy show of all time? I love Seinfeld. That's an amazing show. I still watch Seinfeld. Office cracks me up more in certain episodes and contexts. It's at least one of my favorites. I also like 30 Rock. That was a classic. That was a bit zany at times. I don't know if you guys watched it, but it's a good show. And what else? Parks and Rec. Amazing. Lots of amazing comedies. So I'm not saying, Office stands alone and there's no competitors for that conversation, but man, it is absolutely one of the best of the best. What about these summoners? That's one of the questions in my mind. Is it worth it to start pulling out these tactic summoners? Now, for 60 cents a BCX, it's actually, okay, 60 is the high bid. The low buy is actually 76, not 60. I don't know what's going on there. Little delay on the data or something. But is this 115 BCX worth $80? Seems like to me it would be. I like the 2+ archers. And there's situations where, you know what I would really like? To use this in a context of an ambush. So you bring Prophet Rosa and then you start thinking archery ambush. And there is a neutral. Go like this, go ambush. These are the rebellions and these are the ambushers. The dry bone Bodog. I think this card is probably better than the price implies. Now, let's look at it compared to, before we say that, it is 30 cents a BCX and we're talking 115, so you're talking $40, $40 for a max copy. And it does a good amount of damage. It's very powerful, like 3 damage at the highest levels. It's got the ambush. Now, the scatter shot might annoy you in some situations. And at first, I used to think, I don't like this because of that. I don't know where it's going to land. But still, man, it's like a double strike. It gets to attack and turn around and turn 0. At 3 damage is a high amount of damage. 4 mana is really low and inexpensive for that sort of damage output. But it's not just 3, is it? It's 3 plus 2 or plus another 3 because you get attack in round 0 and then again in round 1. I rented this card recently. It's one of the cards I'm let's say considering purchasing. And for this price point, it's like I'm surprised by the price point for it being a rare. Because it is neutral also. And so it would fit within the context of what I was just saying with that Prophet Rosa, which seems to be a relatively inexpensive Summoner at 70 cents a BCX. Because, you know, anything like for a summoner under $100, I don't know whether there's a lot of summoners under $100. We can look at that in a minute, because I do want to see whether these Rebellion summoners are becoming the new floor for summoners. You know, Chaos Legion is super cheap. But are the summoners here, are any of them going for what I would consider cheap compared to Chaos Legion? But yeah, Drybone could benefit from a Prophet Rosa partnership in a big way. You also have over here the ambush with the Sultry Barmaid. And to think you'd have the Drybone and the Sultry. And what's the Sultry doing? It does 3 damage at the highest levels, or even at like level 8. It's also got the stun, which is pretty clutch. Stun in an ambush phase could be really amazing. And also because it's ambush, you're going to fire in the 0 round and then again in the 1. So you potentially could stun either 2 different characters if you were to somehow delete a character in round 0. Or you might miss the stun in the first round, because remember, it's only a 50% proc chance. And then in round 1, when you stun, you get that other, you do end up stunning, which 2 chances at a stun is so much better than just the 1. And the 4 speed does give you a strong probability of landing your shot. So it's not like it's a 1 speed or this is a 1 speed. That would be a problem. You wouldn't want to just, let's say, use Prophet Rosa with the strategy I'm describing and then have neither of them hit. Well, they both have 4. This one has 5 speed and this one has 4 speed. Those are likely to hit. So right there, I think, is an example of maybe something that I haven't seen a lot of people doing anyways. I haven't seen Prophet Rosa at all. Is that something we're sleeping on? I don't know. Again, let's look at the summoners. I want to see what these are the summoner price points. I feel like these numbers have come down from about 40 cents into the 30 cent range. Maybe that's because they are less desirable, or maybe it's because people aren't recognizing the opportunity that exists with them. I don't know. 30 cents isn't exactly cheap though anyways, because you need 400 of them. So that's still $120, I think. 30 cents, we go, I guess, times 30 times 400. $120 is not a cheap summoner, is it? Well, it is, but it's not nothing. Again, I said earlier, $100 will buy you 3,300 SPS. So this is going to buy you 3,500 SPS or something like that, or maybe 4,000 even. Would you rather have Dolfork Darflak max level, or would you rather have that much SPS? I have a hard time justifying spending hundreds of dollars on cards when I know SPS is that cheap, and when I believe what I believe about SPS. But you could say that over and over and over and over again until such time that these cards get out of your price range, couldn't you? And then where are you? If you like the game and you want to play the game, it makes sense to acquire some of the cards that you want to play with, and that's why I've approached Rebellion in that way. I've acquired some of these cards, and I will continue to do so, because I, not on a rush-in basis, but like on a piecemeal basis, as I really start to see what I think is going to be impactful. I've already done that, and I'm going to keep doing that. But yeah, Prophet Rosa is interesting to me from that perspective alone. And there's archery only rule sets, which you would probably enjoy that at. The double buff could be good. And you know what's also good in archery only rule sets? One shield monster in the first spot when you're playing archery only rule set can be really helpful, because that if you can get a larger archer in the first spot who has close range and you slap a shield on them, and maybe you have a headwinds on your team, which is possible, you start to get this synergy where you bring down the damage from the via the headwinds, and then you compound that reduction using shield, and it can be a winner. It can absolutely transform the path to victory with those rule sets. Now that's one example, and maybe it's too niche, but I think earlier when I talked about those 2 ambush monsters and how one of them's neutral too, so that's more flexibility, it feels like this could be interesting. And we said this is $120 for the cheapest of these commons, but over here with 115, this one's even cheaper. Even if, again, that data's not right, 68, if we go like this, we go buy bulk, we say we want 115, $102. That's cheaper. That's cheaper than Dolfork. It's cheaper than Chul. It's cheaper than Brewmaster. It's cheaper than Zedica. I'll buy a long shot on Zedica. It's cheaper than Actually, it's not cheaper than Nomos. It's a lot cheaper than Prunda. I'm not sure, and I'd love to see in the chat, these double summoners, these double splinter summoners, to me seem amazing. Like, I would think, and I haven't used them very much, maybe at all. And so I don't really know, but it seems that it will be really, really powerful. I've seen some people use them, and I've seen it work a couple times, but it's so infrequent that I don't think there's enough data in yet. Are you guys using it? If so, do you agree that this is worth 50% more? This is 120 bucks, I think we said. This is therefore $180. Is that much better to have blue with white than it is to have death with fire? I find that hard to believe. Again, every dollar you spend can be spent in 20 different ways. So if this costs $60 more and provides a versatility that is improved, what could $60 buy you? A lot of things. I mean, maybe another, like pretty much a second summoner, right? Probably a very high level Dolphor, as well as, you know, a high level, recently, probably 2 level 6s of these two, I bet. Or one of this at level 8 or level 10. Yeah. Prophet Rosa is interesting to me as I think that through. In the same way, Prophet Rosa with the multiple archer buff, I would say Underboss Fabino with the double melee and maybe an ambush perspective might be a play. Let's have a look at that. Again, ambush is really one of the focus points for me because I believe that these ambush monsters, that turn 0 action is so critical. It can be really powerful with these sultry barmaid. We talked about how it has stun. You get 2 chances at a stun. A stun can change the game. If it has affliction, if it has, you know, let's see what they have. Goblano Soldier is a melee. Now that's a fire. Hang on a second. I got to remember what I'm doing here. That summoner was a green. So, oh, no, I can't use that. Okay, so there is no melee ambush on the green. What about, let's go like this. What we want to do is specifically focus in on neutral and green. And there's no, how is there no sneak monster? Is that for real right now? There's no sneak monster in the green? That can't be, that's not for real. I'm doing something wrong here. Rebellion does not have a green earth sneak monster. That is wild. That's astonishing to me. Yeah, I want to check in more on Rebellion because I think there's more there. Ambush is definitely part of it. Ooh, cards like this to me. This card strikes me as really powerful. The multi-attack cards are always really powerful. You've seen it with Aggro Longtail. You've seen it with, I'm going to forget some of the names now. There's that Gladiator card on the Earth Splinter that everyone likes to play. Does melee as well as magic damage. Multi-attackers are powerful. And Captain Fellblade is definitely powerful. And for this to be sneak damage with the magic is huge. And for it to have 2 magic damage at level 1 makes even one of these BCX really strong. I would say this is a very strong card. Now, I haven't played with it though, so I don't have any sort of expertise or you know, evidence for you. It just, you know, the multi-attack for one thing, and then also the look at the speed too, by the way, even at the medium levels. 6 speed, that's a very quick speed. This would be a great ambusher, and you could get that through a cane. So this could be a card I specifically seek out because I use a cane, the dragon summoner that allows to ambush. And if I could identify, if I could bring a card like this and have another different play that I might, you know, you always want to have multiple sort of options to pick from to apply your ambush to. And this could be one of those options. If I see vulnerability on your back line, I'll use Captain Fellblade. I'll have Captain Fellblade on the table, and it's like, no, you go first, ambush style. And she's never going to miss with the 6 speed. Well, probably not, unless you have, you know, dodge and flight and whatever else, blindness, etc. But even that, the magic would land, unless you had phase in the back, which seems unlikely. So strong card. I definitely want to consider that one. But trying to keep at it from the vein of like, what about these summoners? I'm not sure yet which of these I would want. Kane I own, and I feel strongly this is a good card. The price has been dipping. People either disagree with me or just aren't taking it seriously for one reason or another. The price has been coming down. Like this was closer to 32, 33. Now we're at 29, 28. And then you got high bids lower at 20, 23.6. If you can get this for 23, 24, I'd say that's very smart. You might want to use that 24 bucks in a different way, and I can respect that. But I'm saying this is an impactful card. And let's look at some data while we're on it. So current month summoners, let's refresh just in case. SplinterCoach.com, check them out, guys. This is not a paid promotional comment, but I should say Jamie, the co-creator or creator of SplinterCoach, is a friend, and I think, but I truly believe this is a fun website to use, and I love being able to track the personalized battle history. So you might as well. This is the current month performance for my summoners. Look at this kitty, 52 and 24. This is a very strong card, and it always has been ever since it launched, and it probably always will be. And I'm saying if you play in Wild, which I do with my main account, which is this account that we're looking at now, it makes sense to try and track down cards like this. Right now I'm just renting it. I'm spending about 300 to 400 DC a day to borrow this card. And if you look across time, like if you say 400 DC a day, 400 times 365 equals 146,000, which is $146. So it'd be $146 to rent that card for the entire year. And I don't rent it every day. I rent it half of the season probably. But let's say I rented it every day, 146 bucks, and now it costs probably $1,000 to buy it. So, I'm not going to rush into it, but probably one day I will buy another kitty. But that's not the point of why I wanted to talk at Splinter Coach. I want to see where my Kane is. There's a Kane with a 6-6 record. Now lower than average play. So you might think, well, for $25 or $28 or 30 bucks a BCX, 300. So if we say 30 bucks a BCX, you're paying 330 bucks for a max copy for a Kane. And we just showed earlier how Prophet Rosa is 100. Some of those dual Splinter summoners are 120, 160. You could get probably 2 or 3 different summoners, or if you're not playing at the highest levels, you can go a long way to spend 330 bucks in another way. So, I get it if you want to say this is not enough play and not enough utility to justify that price point. But I think part of that picture is a lack of full understanding of how best to use it. Plus, I think some of the ambush cards that I don't have that I should have, that, as I start to fill out my rebellion, this number of play will grow, as well as the impact and the rate of wins. I might be wrong, but that's my expectation. And also when I have access to Kitty and a Kane, it's easy to say I'm going to lean on this. Right? I know how to use it. And look at these cards that Kitty partners with. These are some of my favorite cards. Some of the cards Nightmare is an amazing card with the phase and the 9 speed. And you bring a blind in there. Plus you bring the Snag Assassin, which also has a swiftness. Look at these 29 and 9 with Kitty, 28 and 7 with Kitty, 23 and 8 with Kitty. So there's I know how to use this already. So it's that's where I lean. But that doesn't mean a Kane is bad. It just means it's probably not Byzantine Kitty. But again, if you had 300 bucks or if you had 100 bucks, it doesn't make sense. And maybe where's the path? Underboss is interesting to me because of that double melee, but obviously ambush is not possible. Sneak's not possible, which is, like I said, surprising to me. We come in here to Rebellion only, and we go green. What are we doing melee wise? Let's look at this. I really like Palace in the second spot because it brings that lookout. And that gives you a snipe protection as well as a main tank protection. 8 mana is not bad either. Endless Ape in the first spot in front of a palace could be, you know, quite resilient if you have a tank available to you. And you could add 2 melee to each of those guys with that summoner. Where weak magic happens and your armor stops magic. Leoceros. That's a cool name, by the way. Like lion and rhinoceros. This could be. This makes me think of total sidetrack. By the way, this makes me think of The Last Airbender, where in that world, every animal is like partnered with another animal. But it's like a lion and a rhinoceros. But, you know, again, weak magic could make a card like this a strong tank in the first spot with the 7 mana, and then you slip in the palace in the second position, and then maybe you melee buff both. But the good thing about underboss is that flexibility. If the melee is not the right play, you come over here and drop a poison on one of your key opponents. Strong card. But again, 1.4, say call it one, let's see, you know, 115. This is a lot more expensive. Almost $200 for that. So would you rather have a $200 rare, $300 legendary, or maybe even 2 high-level common summoners? Or is the play something entirely different? From basically what I'm seeing, I'm not convinced any of these are cheap, but I am feeling like maybe Prophet Rosa is worth some attention at these price points. Jim, good to see you, buddy. One Punch is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And season 2, like I said, is on Netflix now. Vilson's into the One Punch as well. Watched it back in the day. Deus, appreciate you hanging out, and the Crosstalk guys, thanks for hanging out, guys. Jason, the Terminal List with Chris Pratt is similar to Reacher and is very good. I never watched that one either. I heard about it. Guys at my church were obviously saying it was amazing. I think it did really well. It got a lot of acclaim, I think. So I should check that out. Rooney with True Strike opportunity under a cane is straight money. Yeah, that's true. So let me think that through. You got the True Strike with the Arcane. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I haven't been doing that at all, I don't think. Let's have a peek at that. I don't think I've been doing that. Why am I not doing that? Look at this lifetime record. I started out last month using this card, and I was obviously misusing it, but this month, and I was slipping it into more circumstances than I probably have been recently. Yeah, it's not one of my choices that I've been doing. I like using the Archimist because the Archimist is the halving, and so it's a great tank. It's quite resilient, and then you can slap an ambush on it if your opponent's front line, like if you're sitting off head to head, and I've got Archimist the Bear in first, and you got Agor Longtail in the first spot, I can have your damage on 2 different damage attacks. That is a turn 0 attack I want to take. But then I also often bring the Chaos Dragon, and it's not working, I guess. I'm looking at some of this data for the first time. Yeah, I should think through the True Strike Rooney, because I have one. What do I do? Let me look at my Rooney data. I don't know how... I've been looking at Rooney price points lately. I've also even been thinking about selling my Rooney. Not that I don't like it, not that I think it's bad. It's just like, what price would you sell it for? Because I think everything is on the table at the right number, isn't it? Like, if we're being honest, you would sell every asset you have in Splinterlands probably for some price. I'm not saying I want to do that. I'm not saying we should desire that. I'm just saying at some number, if somebody came to you and was like, $10 billion, you'd be like, yes, please, right now, 100 million, 100,000. There's a number. I don't know how low it goes. For each of us, it's going to be different. Would you sell your Rooney for, right now, the market says $600 for an average Rooney, for like a nothing special Rooney. My Rooney is not nothing special. It's got some cool features. It's not super special either. Let's pull up my Rooney. But I definitely don't want to sell it for $600. I mean, maybe I would sell it for 1,000. So here's my Rooney. 3% background, 3% body. 3% head, 2% core, and 1% spear. So the spear is a bit on the rarer side. The rest is pretty average. You know, it is kind of an average Rooney. I think it looks pretty cool. I like the green a lot. Okay, so I can check Rooney's record under a cane. So go to, let me see this. Where are you at? I probably haven't done it. I've only played 30 battles. Yeah, I've only done it one time. This is the thing. I need more data. I need more opportunity to play these things together. And as I hear from people like yourself, anecdotally, you know, these different opportunities, maybe I could put them to work and find those sorts of, put it to work in my own play style. And after we get to a place where all those sorts of observations have been made and those, you know, new approaches to playing have been implemented, that's when the prices will be stable. Like at this moment in time, you understand, everyone who's been here for a year understands how Chaos Legion works. You know which cards are really powerful and how to use them together. There's not a lot of innovation happening around Chaos Legion at this moment, except to the extent that new synergies have been created with Rebellion or with new promo cards. Those require new thinking. But there's a moment in time where the pot gets stirred when there's a new release of cards. 90 new cards change the meta in a big way. They change how old cards work. They change how you need to think through your approach to the game. It's like a lot of stuff gets thrown up in the air and you got to figure it out. And that moment of uncertainty is a moment of opportunity for those who can be thoughtful and critical, etc.